I'm very grateful that you've held for us so patiently by my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson. It's having its effects already, whether positive or negative. Professor Jampo says the majority leader's posturing doesn't support collaboration. This hung parliament, has it been a blessing or a curse?
Thank you very much. Before I come there, let me say that, right? Yes. The honorable member for, is it Tamale South or? No.
Tamale North. No. And just a correction, earlier when you were talking about Okudzeto Ablakwa, he is actually North Tongue.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would advise that perhaps and publish their stance on the e-levy so that we can all come to terms with it.
But Prof, just to interject, and Al Hassan is drawing your attention to it. They have actually done that.
We have issued a statement to that effect.
Figures and everything.
No, he's saying our
and say they will use.
Well, I won't say either a curse or a blessing, but I'll say that it's a developmental process, and we have to go through some of these things before we develop as a country, as a democracy. As a parliamentary democracy, we have to have several nomenclatures of parliament for us to be able to understand really how parliament works. So I'm not surprised. If I look at my studies of parliament, especially the UK parliament, the oldest parliament in the whole wide world, these things are bound to happen. It tells us that we should continue to learn, especially. For example, we have 137 excluding the independent MP. Now, the argument has been that if the speaker is not around, then the first deputy speaker chairs, and then the numbers become 137. What do we have to do here? So if you have to vote, it means all kinds of bills will be rejected, frankly. But if you look at the voting rights of the speaker, which people argue also affects the first and second deputy speakers, then perhaps we have to go back and have a second look at that clause, especially that found in the standing orders.
Right.
What can we do about it? To revise the standing orders and make sure that if the first deputy speaker sits in the chair, they can still have some form of vote, either the voting right, the original voting right, or a casting vote. It is not clear, and that is why some of us have suggested that perhaps at a point in time we have to go to the Supreme Court. The deputy speaker, the second deputy speaker, both of them are members of parliament, and they represent their constituents. And so at a point in time, if you debar them from voting or having a say about a bill, then you are denying their constituents that form of representation that they should have. So it is a learning process, as I said. This is something that we have. The debate has already. Speaker is in Dubai on health grounds. I'm told he'll be back somewhere in March, on the 5th of March or so. So from now up to that point, the first deputy, either the first deputy speaker or the second deputy speaker will have to sit in the chair. Then what happens? When we have something we have to take seriously, we have to think about it seriously and maybe go back and revise or amend that provision either in the Constitution or in the standing orders. I don't know the way to go around that. We can leave that to the lawyers because I'm not a lawyer. But this is my layman's perspective of that provision in the law.
Okay.
So that going forward, if we have to go through this kind of situation again, we know what we have to exactly do. Otherwise, if you get a speaker, who wants to Dubai for medical review and all that?
Right.
But he may be right. It may be a genuine situation, but some people don't understand. Right. So if we are not careful, we will get to situations where people can manipulate the system to their advantage.
Prof, so quickly.
What it means is that we have to go back to the law and make sure that we put the right measures in place so Ghana's parliament can function effectively.
Okay, try to squeeze this into a minute for me, 60 seconds. What do you think the impact is going to be of the Speaker's absence, especially at this crucial time where the e-levy is going to be tabled on the floor of Parliament?
The Deputy Speaker voted some time ago. If they have to go through that situation again, then the e-levy can be passed by 138 to 137 votes. But if the stance is still that he cannot vote, then I'm afraid perhaps it's not going to pass.
With what knowledge you've acquired following parliamentary proceedings, do you think it is apt for him to vote, or you subscribe to those who say he shouldn't vote?
No answer, because of the arguments surrounding that, and a lot of people, even lawyers, don't agree, because the point, as I said earlier, you have the first deputy speaker being an MP, right? And the second deputy speaker is also an MP. Of course, the speaker is not an MP. So when they say the speaker cannot vote, that is very clear. Or commenting on a bill that has been introduced to Parliament. Are you not preventing his constituents from having a say on that bill? So that is a question that we need to ask. And that is why I think that it is something we have to have a second look. As I said, it is my view, and that is my representation as an MP, then they may have to vote.
Okay.
That may also go against the standing orders of Parliament.
Right.
Or even the Constitution.
Right.
And that is where we need to reconcile the two and make sure that we find a common ground. Sometime later, a lot more things may happen in the future.
Okay.
And these arguments will continue to come. So for me, it is better for us to find a solution once and for all.
Okay.
By either going to the Supreme Court for an interpretation or amending something I said earlier. For me, I am not so much surprised about what is going on in Parliament.
Okay.
Because I've been following parliaments, some parliaments all over the world.
Okay.
When it gets to this stage, it is also political. People are trying to get points, political point scoring. And I believe that if the NPP were in opposition, something like this will still happen.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you. Hold for us for now. I'll come to you as we wrap the conversation in a few minutes to have your take on what your expectations are as we go back to Parliament, how you think developments will, in fact, pan out. But let me come back into the studio quickly on this beat. Now, yesterday on the Pulse, speaking of the matter is that the MPP MPs themselves, they don't think that the e-levy is a good thing. That is why their leadership is not able to get all the 138 members to vote. 138 here, of course, he's adding the Fomena MP because he's part of your caucus. And interestingly, the minority chief whip has said that a powerful king, foisted it on him to join your caucus in Parliament. Is this assertion true? Because look at it. On Friday, all you needed to do, because the Right Honourable Bagbin was still in the seat. He was waiting for you. The minority side, they waited for you for 9 hours plus.
No, he wasn't in the seat.
And you were unable to actually see that through. Now, he's no longer available, and we have to go through a scenario that could degenerate into the exchange of fisticuffs and all of that. Is it true what this says? Your members, Nankasano, some of them don't support the e-levy.
You know that is not true.
How would I know?
But you're answering me. So
No, but how would I know?
But that is not true.
So it's a question.
Okay, I agree. Yes, you're right. But that is not true.
It's not true.
It's never true.
Why are you not able to muster the membership to come and vote for your e-levy?
I don't think I particularly can answer this question because I was there. Most of our people were there. My opposition brothers were there.
But some of them, about 4 of your MPs were conspicuously missing.
I can't speak to that, but at least not all the 138 members were there. And why they were not there, I don't know. They are human beings.
Right.
Now we have our speaker outside the country.
No, but stick it. I'm sorry. But in a situation like this where you need every vote counts,
If I like,
you're saying your majority chief whip could not whip people
no,
in
not
line?
that he could not. He's a very fantastic leader. To me, he's doing so much well. But what I'm saying is that we are human beings. There are uncontrollable factors. Now, where is our main speaker? I don't think our main speaker will travel because of this. I don't think so.
Right.
That's my view. I don't know what is. It's not a view of the majority. But
The majority thinks he's playing some games.
I don't know. Majority. Haven't seen anybody saying that.
No, I mean, I'm just writing on. You're saying that is not the thinking of the majority, but you think that
please don't
he
change.
is.
I'm saying that what I'm making, the statement I'm making now, it's my individual view. That's what I think.
That's what I'm
It
corroborating.
doesn't mean
Speaker.
I'm right or even wrong.
Okay.
But we all know our speaker is not doing well.
Right.
And because of that, he's outside. One
Health-wise.
Health-wise,
Yes.
yes.
Let's
One
clarify,
cannot,
so-
one cannot blame him or say the other. It could be intentional. It could be that truly it is a
Do you
natural
suspect it could be intentional?
I don't have any evidence. I can't say that.
Okay.
I can't say because I don't have evidence. I'm only wishing if indeed it is health issue, God should heal him because he's a great person. He's an asset not only to NDC or even MPP, but to this country where he is now.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that one or two of our guys who were not there, I really don't know exactly what was going on because asymmetric information. It's not everything you know here about multimedia. Right. There could be pieces of information very relevant, but you are not privy to. However, all that I'm saying is that I'm admonishing the minority brothers and the majority brothers to have this nation at heart.
Okay, just to wrap with you. So, do you think, and I'll give Suene enough time before I go back to Prof. So, do you think today you can muster the numbers to push this?
I'm praying and hoping so. I'm praying and hoping so. And I think the levy will be passed and Ghanaians will be very happy and thereof.
Okay,
I
thank you.
know it's not a palatable.
Thank you. Have moles in their camp, and I'm sure vice versa. I mean, it's politics. But do you suspect even within their rank and file, there are people in there who are against the e-levy, who are probably just staying away because this e-levy now, they are not in support of it?
Well, I don't know what General Mosquito knows. What I see is that there's a claim by majority members of the New Patriotic Party in Parliament that they all support the e-levy. And I see mobilization. There's a claim that they all support. I mean, you just heard Dr. Moore here make that same claim.
Have you ever interacted with any of them, friends? I know you're all friends who have suggested in any way that they are not in support of it.
I am not one who goes about disclosing.
I wouldn't ask you to mention the person's.
It doesn't matter. I didn't say. I don't disclose private conversations. Just to all of us that they all support the e-levy. As to why they are unable to mobilize the 138 to vote for it, I am unable to proffer a reason. But I am very convinced that majority of Ghanaians are against the e-levy. I have seen it based on scientific and unscientific polls that have been conducted by people, and to that extent, I am surprised that these NPP members of Parliament are going against the wishes of the people that despite the glaring opposition from their constituents, they are still determined to support this government to impose this draconian levy on the people of Ghana, the people that they are supposed to be representing. Right. You see, we all during the recess interacted with our constituents, and I'll be surprised if there was one MP who in his or her engagement with his MP to ignore that opposition in his or her constituency and still come onto the floor to assist the government implement this policy can only be said to be very, very insensitive. Okay. And I suspect that may perhaps be the reason why some of them are shying away. So at the end of the day, they can perhaps go back to their constituents and claim that they were not part of the imposition.
Just give me a yes or no answer to this. So will the e-levy pass or will it fail on the floor of Parliament?
That's you're asking the wrong person.
How come?
It's simple. That the minority MPs of 137, whenever the e-levy is tabled, will vote against it.
Okay, thank you. Let me come to Prof. As I take your parting comments in a minute on this very matter. Your expectations as they go toe to toe on the floor of Parliament.
Well, thank you very much. I expect that there will be. It will go a long way to help the democracy that we are developing. You know, as I said earlier, for Parliament, opposition and government MPs always struggling over the introduction of taxes and all that is always there. We are going to face that, but at the end of the day, there will be a way out. Let us see the way out. I would advise the MPs that we don't want to see what we saw the last time. The what do you call it? The exchange of blows and what have you. We don't want to see that.
Right.
It was very disgusting, if I should say. If I'm too strong, I'm sorry, but it wasn't a favorable thing for Ghanaians to see. So for me, I want to see them come together, build a consensus. But another thing that
Prof, make this very brief. I'm giving you 15 more seconds, so wrap up.
All right. One other thing that I advise the majority side would be that they should up their game about communicating about the e-levy. How they communicate to the people, the assurance. I think at a point in time, if you go around and ask a number of Ghanaians, they are not too sure. It's a matter of trust. You know, at a point in time, we had a road fund. And the idea was that we were going to use that specifically for the construction of roads. Ghanaians will ask.
Prof, unfortunately, we have to wrap it here. But thank you so much, Prof, for joining the conversation. Professor Kwabena Safo-Kantanka, Senior Research Fellow with Odikro. Let's take some of your social media comments very quickly. Sawari Jacob Laura from, I don't know whether it's Laura you are sending the message from, but you say, President appointed 125 ministers, which all were living a luxurious life with our taxpayers' money, and today he wants to burden poor Ghanaians with an e-levy. Mr. President, ask those former appointees of yours to do susu for you. We don't go pay any e-levy. Hashtag AM show. Okay. Dasar Jr. says, why do we tag anybody who speaks against the e-levy as unpatriotic and doesn't want the country's development? Hashtag AM show. Thank you. Next one. So we have more of your comments coming up. Dasar Jr. Sending that one. Emmanuel says, all of a sudden, the e-levy has become the solution to all our problems as a country. What are they using the taxes for? Tell Stephen Amwa to be civil enough to allow others to make their submissions. Again, with the hashtag AM show. If we have a final one for now, I know there are many more. Prince says, I think the government relaxed on the issues and demands of UTAG. The NLC should withdraw the court suit against UTAG if only they want the strike to be discussed amicably and suspended. Nothing seems to be working perfectly in Ghana now. Well, those are the thoughts you've been sending through. We'll be wrapping in just about a minute as I acknowledge my other guests. But something big is coming your way. The way you listen to Multimedia's radio stations is about to change. Are you ready for it? If you're using a smartphone running on Android, just activate your Google Assistant now and get ready to ask Multimedia for a whole new experience. To do this, look for the Google app on your phone. It's the multicolored letter G. Open it and press your display photo or initials on the top right. Go to Settings, find Hey Google and Voice Match and open it. That's it. Make sure Hey Google is enabled by tapping on the switch until it turns blue. You may have to record your voice so your Google Assistant can identify you anytime you speak. Now, you're ready to ask Multimedia. It's that simple. So just to wrap, there's no minute left. Our time is up.
I want to say this.
So thank you very much, Alhassan Suini, Member of Parliament, Tamale North, and Dr. Stephen Amwa, MP in Shia.
Psalm 56:11.
Right.
I'm encouraging my majority brothers with this.
Right.
That in God we trust. We are not afraid of man.
Okay. This is